Okay.
I'm gonna push.
All right.
I just pushed the recording. I'm gonna record the meeting for her then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the speaker would have been on by now.
Well, he got 3 or 4 different emails with the Zoom information. So,
Yep. He knows.
1 o'clock.
Somebody's got
Maybe
a
the
pretty
house.
clock in the background. I don't know whose clock that is, but it sounds pretty.
Thank
it
you.
is pretty. I wonder if if anything's going on at the house. And he won't be on for the whole hour.
No.
Okay.
Of course, we've got to get him on before we can start, don't we?
Uh-huh.
I looked at our investment again this morning, Betsy, and last week, if you watch the news, last week was a bad week for investors.
I saw where things were down.
Yeah, things went down, but Monday and Tuesday, they've recovered. So we're back kind of where we were a week ago. So it's all good.
Roger, I'm so thankful that you decided, to move our money to Edward Jones. That was the smartest thing our association's ever done.
It's
Yes,
working out
thank
well.
you.
And we've made
as of this morning, we have made $5,458.
and it's only been in there, 3 years?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
We put in $15,000 initially, and then we added 5,000 a few months ago. So we made deposits of 20,000 total, and we've got over 25,000. So we got $5,000 of free money. I feel like Congress.
Yes. Money we didn't have to work for.
That's right. Didn't have to work for it. It just showed up at the door.
Yeah.
And to know that North Carolina has got such a surplus of pots of money.
Yes. $6 billion on a $25 billion budget. That's, $6 billion in Washington is not that big a deal, but in Raleigh, that's a big deal.
It is. And the taxes that came in as so far ahead of what they anticipated.
Yep.
That's because they didn't have to give us a COLA. They got the extra money.
Or they didn't teacher raises or anything. Yeah, that's right.
And when Tim Moore comes on, we need to share with him, and I think we will. We understand as teachers that in lean years, there's no money for COLAs. We get that.
Yet last year with the COVID situation, we didn't even ask for one.
But in years of plenty, that's when you got to ask. I get it. In lean years, it's just like our family budgets. In lean years, you don't buy a new car, but in times of plenty, that's when you might get the new refrigerator or something. You got to spend it when you get it. And I think we understand that. But they have plenty.
Oh, here he is. Hello.
Hey, Tim.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker.
Good morning.
Guys, how are you?
Good afternoon. It's good afternoon
now.
See ya.
Delighted to see you on too, Tim. Good.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Hope everybody's doing well.
We are.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. How about you?
Doing great. And I've got two staffers here that handle budget things nearby that can answer questions. There's Brett over there, and Corey's off in the distance over there. So
Okay.
That can help us as well if there's any questions. But good to see you guys.
Good.
Good to see you as well. Thank you for being with us.
Of course.
Well, and with there's several more that's supposed to be on, Tim. So I don't know. I know your time is valuable.
We're good. We're good.
We'll give them a couple more minutes before we start, if that's okay.
That'll be fine.
How's your family? How are your sons?
Everybody's doing great. One's actually the youngest, Wilson's actually interning here at the General Assembly for one of the other members, and so
Okay.
so he gets hold of me whenever it's time to get a meal because he wants me to pay for it. Had him at lunch, and the other one
He's still a child, no matter how tall he is. He's still your child.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one, he's at state doing summer school, but out at went out to the College World Series, but comes back today. So
Good.
Oh,
they're having a
how-
pretty
it's
good
so
summer. They're getting,
exciting to be a state student right now with what,
Oh, yeah.
with the big win. How great.
Yeah. yeah, they're having a good time with it for sure.
So, well, and so they're both in Raleigh with you this summer.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I see
good.
them here, more obviously than back home, because like I said, Wilson's a Carolina student in McRae State, so I see them here all the time.
Well, it's good that you're keeping up the North Carolina University system.
They both take my checks every semester, so hey, I guess we're in good shape.
Well, good. And your mom and dad are doing okay, Tim?
Yes, ma'am, they sure are. Yeah,
Good.
they're doing fine.
And so they stayed low during the pandemic, and now they're out and about.
They're staying really busy. So dad stayed at the furniture store a decent amount, and so their mom takes care of my grandmother. So yeah, they're doing their thing. So how about you guys? Everybody's family's doing well?
Good.
Thank you.
Good, very well. My family's all going to be together for July 4th. We did a Zoom meeting last night, and they're all coming in, and I'm just so excited.
Very good. That'll be great.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Madam President, I see 5 after 1. This old school teacher says,
All
ring the
right,
bell.
all right. Well, we'll go ahead and start then. And those that had said that they were going to be on, maybe they'll come on. And I know some were busy, and some are babysitting. Some are doing all those volunteer things that retirees do. But and I just want to welcome you, Speaker Moore, to our meeting today and to the Zoom, and thank your staff for working diligently to help us get this done. Tim, you know that the last meeting that we met in person as a group was last March, a year ago, when you were the speaker. You
Yes.
see, after that, we all went into lockdown for what Roger calls the what year, Roger?
The do-over year.
The do-over
Yeah.
year. I call it,
Good one.
yeah, the lost year. So, and we were talking then about COLA increases and about raises and for what retirees were doing. And so at that time, you had said that you hoped that you would be able to do that if the money was there. So before we asked you questions or anything, let's give you an opportunity to talk to us about what the Senate budget has come out, much to our dismay. And so our hopes are in the
Mine too.
House budget.
And-
Good,
and-
glad to hear that. So our hopes are with you in the House budget. So Tim, if you want to just take off and talk to us, and then we'll ask you questions.
Okay, Betsy, and before he answers, Tim, I think
Yes.
to be fair to you, we are recording this meeting so that we can show it to
yes.
other members. And I think it's fair to let you know that it's being recorded.
Yes, we want
That's
you to know
fine.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just fine. Well, thanks for the chance to talk to you. We did reach an agreement with the Senate early on in terms of what we call an overall spend number, principally based upon what's called the recurring expenditures. And those are the things that once you spend them this year, it builds upon to be as your expansion budget the next year, and so forth and so on. And so the principal concern that the Senate had was in the growth of that expansion budget. We ended up agreeing on, what was it, 3.45%. We actually were in the House, we were pushing for an expansion of closer to, I think, 4.9%. The Senate was wanting to do about 2.9 and 2.8. And so we felt like that growth, that number did not represent the growth that needed to happen if you factor in growth of population, increases in inflation and other factors. So we ended up coming up with a compromise of 3.45. However, as a part of that, what is not limited is the one-time money or any of what we call above the line expenditures, which will in this budget be in the billions of dollars that will go outside of that. So things like bonuses can pass outside of that. Capital and infrastructure pass outside of that. A lot of the grants that are there will pass outside of it. There's a lot of things you can do with non-recurring dollars. So when we were able to craft the spend so that those things were accepted from the 3.45, I had no concern at that point. You could have done 2.9, it wouldn't even matter, because you can fund a lot of things through the non-recurring dollars. The reason that we like to do the non-recurring dollars is because you can do larger numbers, you can do things in a more transformative way, a more significant way, but you don't obligate the state treasury for years down the road when there may be some unforeseen situations where the state's revenue picture is not as strong as it has been. So the things that I'm looking at, I felt like I don't believe the Senate even had any kind of COLA. I'm sure that's going to be
No.
like question one. You didn't have any kind of COLA.
Nothing.
So what I will tell you is that we are looking in the budget that we have been trying to bake in so far, a 2% COLA bonus. Not an actual increase, which would add it, but a 2% bonus, which is 2% in your pocket now that you get, which is good. That's what we're looking at. I'd like to see if we can do more. We need to see where we come down to finally getting a budget together. I want to see us get a budget that not just passes the House and not just passes the Senate, but one that would either pass by a supermajority numbers or preferably one that the governor would sign. So that's the approach that I'm taking with it. Just to be candid, I think to get to that point, that the spending will have to be greater than what the Senate has proposed. And so I'm a big believer in, while this is a great part-time job, I don't believe in wasting time while we're here. And if we can do things to short circuit that and have an idea of what it's going to take to get from a passed budget to an enacted budget law, I'm going to try to explore that going into it. So I will tell you that I'm already having conversations with our Democratic members, and we're also having conversations at the staff level between the executive and and our branch to see what kinds of things would be present. What I told in the meetings that we had with the governor 2 weeks ago when we all met, I guess 2 weeks ago we met with the governor, and we went through a few things. And without getting into too many details, I left that meeting optimistic. Senator Berger was optimistic. Governor Cooper was optimistic. And the two minority leaders of the respective chambers were optimistic that we could get to a budget. But in reading between the lines, it told me that we're going to have to spend more money to get there. The Senate is proposing a tax cuts in the realm of $2 billion. I support tax cuts. I don't know that $2 billion in tax cuts is sustainable. Lowering the personal income tax to the extent that's being proposed is probably not something that we can right now afford without certain triggers in place. And lowering the complete elimination of the corporate income tax may not entirely make sense, given other policy decisions that need to be made. So I'll just simply put it this way, that what the Senate is passing as far as the tax relief, while I may not philosophically have an issue with, I certainly have an issue from a governing standpoint. And so I don't anticipate that their tax package will be passed in the form that it is when it comes to the House. So that should free up roughly maybe another $1 billion in money that right now would be spent for the tax reductions that are being proposed. With respect to the spends that are there, we're still going through and looking at that. I would anticipate that we will spend more money, particularly in terms of a lot of the capital that's out there. And again, I know that the big issue for this call is going to be centered on COLA, but I kind of want to mention some of the big picture things, because while COLA is one part of something you deal with, you, like all the rest of us, live in a community and you're concerned about the overall good of the community and what's there. So other things that we're going to be looking at investing in will be water and sewer expansion, getting a lot of grants. We've got tons of areas in our county and the same in the other 99 counties where you have areas that are underserved, where growth isn't happening. I mean, Betsy, you're there. I mean, you were at a meeting the other week hearing about all these subdivisions that want to come in not too far from where you live. And
excuse me, Tim, just a moment. I've got to go let my plumber in so he can fix my water leak. I'll be right back.
All right. If you need a boat or something, we'll get one down there for you. But what I was going to say is, there's a lot of areas, and I can just apply it to Cleveland County. There's a lot of opportunities for subdivisions to grow. We have, for example, in our community, a real shortage of housing right now, particularly workforce housing. We have a lot of companies bringing in new employees, and they're looking and saying, where do I get a job? I mean, you guys probably know there are plenty of new teachers who are teaching in our schools who are having to commute from Gaston County or Mecklenburg or who knows where because they can't find anywhere to live. Well, we're not unique in that sense. One of the things that would allow us to have more housing is to have more water and sewer infrastructure, because you can, you know, if you're on a lot of nice land that we have with that nice red clay and a lot of that granite, it doesn't perk so well and you can't build houses. So we're not allowing our land to reach the highest and best use. So it helps on residential, but it also helps for economic development for companies to locate. So I think you'll see money put there like it's never been put before. Also on broadband access. Broadband, it used to be a luxury. Now it is, in fact, it's a necessity. You're not going to get a lot of companies who are going to locate here if they can't get access to high-speed internet. So we're going to invest in that. Transportation infrastructure, making sure that we're putting the money into maintaining our bridges, our roads. All of these things are intermodal to ensure
and
that
finishing 74 bypass.
What is that? So the 74. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to finish that. I'm
Well,
pleased to see tractors moving. Yep.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, that thing is fully funded, and then every now and then you'll hear somebody say, "Yeah, we need more money for the bypass." It's there. I mean,
It's there.
it's like $360 million, and it's like it's there. They can't touch it. Use it for anything else. It's going to be there. Right now, what they're running to on the bypass has been just that DOT got ahead of their skis about a year and a half ago, and had to pull back on a lot of things. That's why you saw the roads looking so bad last year when the grass was high and the trash was everywhere because they had overshot where they were. They've now finally gotten that straightened out. So everything's
And my
moving along.
comment was a thank you. It's happening.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
It's been a long time. So thank you.
I
for
had
that.
somebody fuss at me, said it wasn't moving fast enough and I said, well, I don't know what to do unless we want to go get some shovels and stand out there. I don't know, but anyway.
And
But
do weekly cleanups.
Yeah. But it's coming along. But
And we appreciate you're trying to get the infrastructure done because the roads are so bad around here. And Lavender Road Bridge, we can't go to Grover now because that bridge is out. And so we appreciate the help with that.
So how long is that going to take to get the Lavender Road Bridge back in? Hasn't it been a year?
It's
been a
terrible.
year.
There's no excuse for it. The contract was let, then they had to pull it back for some reason. Didn't bother to let any of us know about it. And from the delegation, I thought the thing had been fixed. And so then, then all of a sudden I get a call from a town councilman down there asking about it. And Betsy calls. I'm like, yeah, is it not fixed? So I felt like a fool that I didn't know that the bridge hadn't been replaced because I don't drive down that way. And we reached out and DOT's like, they started giving us the song and dance. So we raised a little sand and anyway, it's back on track now. So that one, and there's a second bridge out down there as well.
Yeah.
But they're slated, the money's there. It's just now it's a problem, frankly, of getting people to actually, the contractors are saying they can't get people to come to work and do the work. And that's another whole
That's another
thing.
issue.
That's another.
I'm back now, and thank y'all for being so patient with me. I hope to have my water situation fixed. Home ownership. When you live alone, Ann, it all falls on your shoulders.
It does.
Can I ask a question, Betsy?
Yeah, go right ahead. Are we down to the question part? Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah, my question is about the COLA, not so much the amount, but about a philosophy. What I heard the President Pro Tem of the Senate say the other day, basically he does not believe in COLAs, no matter what the amount is. Is that am I reading that wrong? Or, he said that there was no guarantee for COLAs for retirees. And I know there's no guarantee, but I thought there was a philosophy, just like Social Security Administration gives COLAs every year, and sometimes it's big and sometimes it's little. Is there a philosophy against COLAs of any amount within the legislature, or am I reading something wrong?
So I will tell you that the Senate has historically, and as you can see from their budget, has not supported COLAs. And the philosophy that I have heard them articulate is that when one retires, they know what their retirement is and that's it. Well, I don't look at it that way. I mean, the cost of gas is not the same this year as it was last year. The cost of anything else is not. I mean, a home, you name it. And so I think particularly when we know that we're heading into an inflationary period right now, I think the CPI is saying we could hit 4% as far as inflation alone. Now that's going to be more pronounced in other parts of the country than North Carolina, because that's an average. But, you know, when there's clearly inflation. There's sector specific inflation, whether it's homes and home construction, whether it's fuel, any of those things. We know there's inflation. So in my opinion, an increase in the COLA is appropriate. The best that I will probably be able to do, given the Senate's opposition to it, would be the COLA bonus as opposed to an actual COLA increase that's permanent. But you know, something's better than nothing. And my belief is we have the funds there to do it, and it makes sense to do it. And if we do it as a bonus, we can actually use the federal ARP funds to do it. If we do it as a recurring increase, that's what becomes a problem. So that's definitely the path of least resistance to do the COLA bonus.
But when you talk about a COLA bonus, it's really just a bonus.
It's a bonus. It's a 1-year thing. It doesn't mean you'll get it next year. It doesn't raise your COLA thereafter for the ongoing. That is correct. But I just think you know, Roger asked the question kind of and established the premise of the question. I mean, there's some serious opposition in the other chamber to it. So if that's where we have to go to get something done, that may be where we have to land.
And Tim, we've had so little over the last 10, 12 years. Inflation, our cost of living's gone up like 18, 20%. We've had a permanent 3% COLA in 11 years. And many of our retirees, they don't make a lot of money, and they're living some below the poverty level. And yet our retirees are out working and volunteering. Ruth Pace even went to the middle school up at Crest during the pandemic and helped up there every day. I mean, to the point that we have thousands of hours that we turn in to the state for volunteer hours, and that it's free for the state. And, you know, we are not just sitting at home twiddling our thumbs. We're really trying to make a difference in our community and to give back. And yet it doesn't look like that, you know, we've spent our years giving to children in the state. And here we are in our golden years when, you know, everything's going up, like the price of hearing aids. You know, our insurance only covers $500, and the price of hearing aids, you know, is $3,000 at one place each, and another place $1,350. So our retirees really need a little more help than that, Tim. And 2% bonus out of all the surplus money that has come into the state this year. And well, what about teachers? Or what are you looking to give teachers, active teachers?
I think we had slated, was it 2.5 is the overall figure? Yeah, 2.5% per year.
2.5%
per year.
And they didn't get
5%
anything last year. For 5% for 2 years, in 2 years. So it's 2.5, and then 2.5.
Yeah, I don't know. What did the Senate propose?
Senate was 1.5 each of the next 2 years.
1.5.
Total 3 split.
And that included the steps. So ours would be 2.5 plus the steps, right? Yeah.
Plus the steps. Well, good for, you know, I know they were hoping for more, for 5%. I think is what they were hoping to get, or more, whatever. But Tim, I mean, the retirees in your county are really having some difficulties, and we were hoping that's why we had bugged you so much to get to talk to you. And we really appreciate your taking your time today. And I hope you understand what we're saying.
Absolutely, 100%.
And we do appreciate it, Tim. It's you know, we have some teachers that you know, they only work 20 years because they took care of families when they were young, and you know, their monthly retirement is just not much. And as you know, the price of everything goes up. And I know everybody wants more money. The staff member sitting behind you would like to have more money. Everybody likes to have more money. But we've got a lot of elderly folks that are really truly hurting. They really are. They're hurting. And
what you raised a question. I ought to ask, find out from our folks. I am curious what the average amount of retirement is that a retired teacher or retired state employee draws after X number of years of service. That would be good to have that. I know I've seen that figure in the past.
Well, we'd like to have that too.
For
Yeah.
the North
You'd be
Carolina
good.
pension, the average is less than $21,000.
We were thinking that we've been told through our association, Tim, like Roger said, that the average is less than $21,000 a year.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'd like to know. And I do know that I can tell you that the healthcare cost, the cost of the healthcare that's provided, that has gone up a whole lot for the state. And I know we fully funded that. And that's something that nobody sees because it's paid for, but it's something that we do have to, that is factored in the overall spend. And so that's been a challenge as well, but I don't know what that went up to, but I think Britt's trying to find some of that data. They've got
Okay.
tons of stuff.
Well, we know that, and the promises that were made when we were teaching, some years the state said, we'll continue to fund your insurance when you retire. And we didn't, we had no salary increases. That's back in the 70s and 80s and all along in there. So we do appreciate the fact that you continue to honor that promise. And yet newer teachers now, they will not have that benefit.
Right.
But we do appreciate having it. And yes, and we're realistic that in the latter years and the end of, as we get older, we use it maybe more. And then again, hip replacement's wonderful and knee replacements besides other things. But I just,
It's all something to look forward to, right?
Oh, yes, that's a positive way to look at it.
Getting old beats the alternative, though.
Oh, that's right.
That's
That's right. And Ann Sissom from Kings Mountain is on here too, Tim. Ann, do you have anything you want to ask him?
Yes,
talk to him
I
about?
don't know if Tim remembers Marcus Sissom. He and Mark Bibbs were classmates. And
Yes.
my son Marcus is teaching in Wilkes County in low
Good deal.
income. And he's at 28 years and very discouraged. Of course, he's done virtual and also in person this year. High school, he teaches high school. And
Which school's he at, Ann?
at Central.
So
Central
Britt
High.
here, Britt right here is from Wilkes County,
Oh, okay.
and her mom's a retired teacher, I think, right?
My dad retired from North.
Okay, what's her
Well,
name?
Brett, what's her name?
It's Britt Bryson now. She was Britt Eller. But yeah, her
Okay.
mom, your dad, your dad still is teaching driver's ed, I guess. Yeah.
Eller's a good mountain name. My home is Ashe County. I grew up in Ashe County. A lot of cousins in Wilkes County.
Well, we had well, she married Corey, who's from Gaston County, right over there.
Okay, that's right.
That's Corey. So, but as you can see, Corey has outkicked his coverage. He married poor Britt. We'd always say it's poor Britt. But,
My theory is all men marry up.
that is true. That is absolutely true. But so they're a great team. So, but what I can tell, reason it's funny you mentioned that about Wilkes though, Ann. Because that's where she's from, and I knew her parents were retired. So I bet we could connect the dots there. And
Yes.
what's really scary is the fact because Marcus is my age and he's eyeing retirement. I'm gonna tell you that makes me feel like super old, and probably makes my drama teacher there feel kind of old to hear that kind of
Yes,
talk, right?
yes.
Yes, Marcus
Yes,
is 51. Yes.
Joel, well, we've got about 5 more minutes to our time. So is there any question, Ann or Joel or Joyce? Joyce Shaper's on here. Now, Joyce is our vice president. Roger is our treasurer. Ann is our loyal member. And the others that some of them said they tune into the recording. So you'll get more coverage out of this interview today, even though not everybody came on. But Joyce, do you have anything to ask him? Or say anything more?
I'm really concerned about new teachers coming into the profession, that we're just lacking so many. I hear from colleges, they say there's just not many people that are majoring in education. And I think some of these things that we've talked about today, such as the COLA for retirees and having insurance after you retire, those are important factors that new teachers are looking at as they go from state to state. We do have, some people that live in North Carolina but go across the border because some of those advantages are there that we don't have here. So I think maybe the importance of retire advantages in retirement are sometimes overlooked as we look at new teachers coming in. They are wise to look at all these things. So that should be considered as well. But we appreciate, Tim, how much you're doing for education, and we hope that you can use your influence with the Senate. I know
do.
it's a tough job trying to take care of the needs of the whole state, and that's a big task. But we appreciate your concern doing Zoom with us today and trying your best to help us all out.
And Tim, we'll give you a little bit and then we'll let you go, because there's a couple of things we need to do just as business of the group. Anything you want to say in closing?
Oh, no, just say I appreciate the opportunity to be with you. And Joyce, to the point that you were making, one of the things that I saw, there was a study that came out, and it talks about with millennials and then the post millennials, what are the things that are motivating them on their career choices. And there's some interesting data that talks about that those who are entering the workforce, even those who are entering the public sector, are not actually anticipating or assuming that they will take a career and work at their entire life.
Right.
Which is a fundamental change, because probably when every one of you guys got into teaching, one of the attractions, of course, just of wanting to be in education, when you looked at the salary, you probably said, well, I may be able to go get a job in the private sector and I can earn more right now doing that. But one of the great benefits of working for the state is that you get the retirement, which nobody but government gives now. Nobody gives retirement at all out there.
Yes.
And
yes.
then the healthcare.
And healthcare.
But the new folks, they really, the newer ones right now, and you guys probably know this from either kids or grandkids or folks that are like, they're more interested in what is it that I'm earning right now? What can I do with it? They're much more savvy than any of us before in terms of like wanting to invest their own dollars and do their own things. I mean, just look at the markets and all the things that are happening right now. And so they're more interested right now, more motivated in terms of that. And we've even seen that in our hiring here at this level. When I bring staffers in who come in and look to apply for a job here with the state, I mean, some of them are very candid. They go, I may want to do this for 2 to 3 years, and I'm going to transition to go to wherever else. So that other stuff they don't really care about. So one of the reasons that we made the change on new hires was that we realized, number one, that right now, if people are thinking long game, they definitely should look at, but that's not what your best and brightest necessarily are looking at right now. But secondly, it is also what are the predictable costs, and where there was a time when healthcare costs were much more predictable. Now they're just not. So that's a challenge, but it's kind of like a balloon, right? You squeeze here, the air goes somewhere else, and it's trying to get that thing just right. But I will say this in summation, I do think you'll see the Senate and the House come to a good and fair compromise on compensation, both for active employees as well as retirees. I think you'll see us come on a spending plan that makes sense, and something that at the end of the day, I'm knocking on wood and hopeful is something that will pass nearly unanimously and will be signed into law. So that's the spirit with which that I can tell our appropriations chairs are going into it from our side of the building.
Well, we appreciate everything you're
Yes.
doing for us, Tim, and you've always supported public education and our concern about the teachers for your grandchildren and my great grandchildren and so forth. They've got to be there. Well, we'll let you go, and thank you so much, Tim. And we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye
How you
bye.
doing? We'll see you.
Bye bye to
Bye-bye.
your staff. Bye,
Yeah.
Brett.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye.
Corey. Thank you.
Madam
All right,
President,
y'all.
looks
we
like you
got-
have 1 minute.
1 minute. Well, and the officers are willing to stay on for another year. And is that okay with you?
Oh, yes. Thank you
Okay,
so
and
much.
I didn't get anybody to say, wait, I want to be president. So I'm assuming that that's fine. And Ann, we wanted to, and Joyce, we gave $500 to the foundation last year. And so we were hoping to give 500 again this year. Is that okay?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And and the officers Rachel is willing to stay on as secretary too.
Good.
And the officers are planning to make next year just such dynamic meetings and things that's so much fun
Yeah.
that we're gonna make up for this lost year.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Good.
Hallelujah. So,
I
um,
appreciate you all so much. Thank you.
well, and
Okay.
I don't know where the others are, but Roger, I'm so glad you recorded it so we can send it out
Yes,
to
thank
them.
you.
We can do that. All right.
All right. Well, listen,
Take care,
are we
everybody.
ready to go? Bye. Have a good rest of the summer.
You all too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Roger.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. Bye-bye.